I grew up in a very choral-centered musical household. My dad was a choir director, my mom sang in choirs, my sister and I sang in choirs. And from a young age, every time I had a choral score put in my hands, I was fascinated with the who behind the piece of music. I would memorize the covers of my favorite pieces, what publisher was this, what design was on the front, and looking at that composer's name, who was that person? And I was very fortunate that in my early years as a choral singer, I sang for conductors who programmed pieces from composers with a wide variety of backgrounds. And so it wasn't strange to see the name of a woman on any score that I got to sing. Nancy Telfer, Eleanor Daly, Jean Ashworth Bartle. These were some names that were first and foremost in front of me as a kid. And so growing up, I never thought choral composition was a place that I couldn't belong and I couldn't have a voice. Because of singing such great music by women composers at an early age, I was inspired to be like them, to learn from them, and to be a choral composer myself. Because I've always been that chorister who looks at the cover of a choral score and wonders who is behind this piece. Who are they? What are they like? I've become the kind of professional who loves to learn about other composers, what other living composers are doing. And so when I was approached to edit and compile Breath of Song, I was so excited to share some of the works, some of the names that I'd gotten to know over the past few years, but also take a deeper dive into the community of women choral composers and learn, get to know who is doing what. And now in publishing Breath of Song, I've got to share some of my favorite pieces from composers who some are very well known, some I consider mentors in a way because I grew up singing their music. Joan Shimko, Eleanor Daly. I look up to these women and I am thankful for the paths that they have carved that have allowed me to do what I do. And I am also thrilled to introduce composers who are known in their communities but are just starting to make a mark on the wider world. Laura Hawley, I have a favorite piece of hers. I'm like, I get to put her favorite piece in this collection. And it's been absolutely thrilling to learn myself about who is doing what, but also to have the opportunity to give some of these pieces a voice that they deserve to have in a wider market.